Uh, Good evening, one and all. This is Praveen Ramalingam, working as a senior software engineer at IC Medical India LLP. Today, I am planning to cover that machine learning with Orange tool. This is I'm planning like an demonstration. So hopefully, you guys will. If you have any queries, then and there, you please raise and get clarified. Um, with that note, I will just started. Hope my screen is visible.
It's visible only.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I'm just going to give that basics. What are the things I'm just going to cover? Just going to give a small introduction. Hope everyone is aware that ML algorithms and the types, everything. Even though I just want to say a little bit, and I will try to move it to the tool. So with that note, um, the main thing which I want to convey is how the machine learning algorithm will work, right? The basic thing is there are two phases in the machine learning algorithm. The first phase is learning phase, and the second phase is inference phase. As you all know about it, in the learning phase, what we will give the input data to the machine learning algorithm. What it will do, it will build a particular model based on that model will be given to the input for the second phase, that is the inference phase. In other words, what we can say is the first phase is called as training the model, whereas in the second phase we will say it as test and evaluate that model. We can say it like that, right? In the first phase, the input data is fed to the machine learning algorithm, and we will try to build a model. Then in the second phase, what we will do is we will take that model generated in the phase one, and with the test data we are fed it to the model we have generated, and we will get the prediction or classification or the corresponding output. This is what the basics of machine learning, right? So with that note, I'm just want to say that as we know what is the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. Whereas in the supervised learning, the main thing is we are having the labeled data as the input, right? Whereas in the unsupervised learning, we don't have any label. We will just get the clustered kind of output, that is categorical output, right? I'm just going to move forward as fast as possible because you guys are already familiar with that. So I'm just fast forwarding all these topics. Anyhow, at the end of the session, I will share this content so that you guys can check with this. As why I am showing this one is for the supervised model. I am going to give the demonstration on the prediction, whereas for unsupervised model, I am going to give the demonstration for the clustering. So for that, I just want to say these things. The main thing for the session is data sets. Hope Manoj has covered in the previous sessions about data sets and how we are going to get the data sets and where we can find the data set. Again, the same thing here. We are having numerous of data sets, but for the why we are focusing on the data sets for a machine learning algorithm, that is the primary thing, right? If we are work with the real-time data, then the real-time data always the size is huge, and while for the computation it will be very difficult for us to design an algorithm, test an algorithm, and produce an output. For that, there are a lot of difficulties in the pre-processing and the format conversion. All of the things has to be taken care so that we will get the corresponding expected and what we can say it's a authenticated output. So for that only we are relying on the data sets. Data sets are already predefined, pre-processed, and it is ready for the use. So that only we are relying on the data sets. In the machine learning, how we will use the data sets? We will get the original data sets. We can split the original data set into two categories. One is for major portion is used for training data set, and the minor portion is for used for test data sets. In the training data set itself, we can classify it into two, whereas the original training set and the validation set. Using the training set, we will build a model. With that validation set, we can test that builder model, and if the result is satisfactory, then we will deploy that model and we will test with the original data sets we have get it from the data sets. Once the final performance is evaluated and it is satisfactory, then that model will be given to the real world problems. This is how the data sets will be used in the machine learning algorithm designing. There are a few open source and freely available data sets which are all most popular, so that we can take the data set and we can directly use it. I'm just going to give the link and the names. For each data set, provider has their own domain and what we can say, their approach, so that if we want to get in government data sets, we can have a government sites, we can use it. Whereas if we want to very particular about medical data sets, we are having separate data set providers. So based on our requirement, we can use the appropriate data sets providers and we can use it. Now I am coming to the session. As I said, this session I am going to demonstrate the machine learning algorithms using the tool called Orange. Okay, what is a Orange tool? What this tool is all about? The tool is nothing but it is an component-based tool, where, as we can see already, component-based tool like C#, right? We are having C#.NET, where each individual component are given as a drag and drop options. So we will use like that. This Orange tool also, we are having component-based visualized programming, which is developed on top of Python. So using that this tool, the primary objectives and primary usage of this tool is data mining, machine learning, and data analysis. So this Orange tool is this Orange tool is used in a way. It is kind of a workflow-driven pattern. What is meant by workflow-driven pattern is there are already user-defined or predefined components available. Readily available. We can just drag and drop, and we can link the component in such a way that we can provide. We can get our expected output. That is called workflow-driven pattern. Here, each and every individual component is called as widget. I will explain detailed with the tool. Why we are using Orange? There are a lot of machine learning tools available. Then what is the special about Orange? Here the biggest special advantage I would say is there is no need of programming. Still it is developed on top of Python. We no need to write a code, because all the components, most of all the ML algorithms, everything will be already created and readily available. We can just drag and drop and use it. So that is the primary and biggest advantage. And another one more advantage is, anybody say anything? Okay. The another biggest advantage is it is a free open source tool. So no need to pay. We can just use it. Then, as I said, it is a visualized environment. So always work with the raw data is very, let us say, it's very boring task, right? Only seeing Excel sheet or it's raw SQL database, and to have a raw data and work on the raw data is very difficult. Whereas to have a pictorial representation of that data, which very much helpful for the developer or data scientist. So that is another biggest advantage. And as I said, all the ML algorithms are already predefined, and it is already available. So we no need to spend our time to develop an algorithm in a way that we no need to program algorithm and we have to use it. Already it's available, we can straight away take and use. Now I am going with a tool. Is my tool is available on your screen? Anybody can confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. As I said, this is the tool called Orange. I'm just walk through this tool. If you have any questions, please ask. In the Orange tool, it is freely available. We can directly take it. Even with the Python libraries like Jupyter, Anaconda, with that, there also you can find it is another plugin tool. Orange is available, but individual also we can separately download Orange and we can use it. I have downloaded this tool here. As I said, denoted few terms called widgets. What is meant by widgets? This is called widgets. Widgets are nothing but, as I said, everything is an individual predefined component, right? As I said, this is one widget called file. This is used for a given input for the algorithm. So to use an input of an algorithm, we can either way use a file, raw file, or CSV format, or data sets. We can directly take the data sets through the URL and we can use it. For, as I said, CSV files, it is a tab separated files. We can directly import it, or we can straight away connect the databases through the SQL tables. So these are all the data inputs. Before that, these are all the categories where we are getting the corresponding widgets in a particular group. For example, data. Inside the data, we can have the widgets with work on the data. For example, files, these are all the input data, preprocessors, or Python script, or outliers. These are all the preprocessor used to work on the data to clean up. Let's say, as I said, if we have any raw file, we have to pre-process it. How we can do? We can either way remove the stop words, we can convert all the uppercase to lowercase, or whatever thing we are doing, we can use the preprocessor to clean up that file. Python script, it is another kind of input file. As I said, Orange is developed on top of Python. If you want to create your own component, which is called user-defined component, you can create using this Python script, or you want to use a particular specific code in order to execute this workflow, you can use the Python script. So these are all major components in the data, whereas these are all the components for visualization: scatter plot, dendrogram, line plot, tree viewer. These are all the visualization tool where we can see at the output, right? Either a graph or a scatter plot, distributions, everything. This is the major thing which is called as model. This model already, as I said, machine learning algorithms, right? As I said, this is tree, this is binary tree implementation, SVM, neural network, Navy base, support vector machines, KNN. All the major machine learning algorithms are already developed, and it is been given in a part in a form called model. Then evaluate. Evaluate is the group of items where we can compute and we can test and evaluate our results, right? We are having tested data and training data. With the training data, we can train our model. With the test data, we can evaluate, right? That result can be evaluated using the prediction or confusion matrix, So those kind of test and score, which is used for the evaluation. Then there are special components for unsupervised learning. The components which are all used for unsupervised, which are all given like PCA or MDS, DB-scan. These are all K means especially for clustering. So distance map or distance file, computing distance. These are all the computing distance. These are all the widgets used for unsupervised learning. Uh, Likewise, if you want to work on image analytics, you can use the components called uh, like image embedding, image viewer, everything. Whereas for if you work on the text mining or sentimental analysis, you can use the text mining. If you want to extract the Twitter data or social media data, you can use the Twitter components, right? This is what I'm trying to say is everything is already predefined and available. You can just drag and drop and use it. When if you are download the Orange tool, you can't get all these tabs. You will get only minimal. You will get the data visualization tab, model tab, evaluated tab, and unsupervised. Other tabs like time series, text mining, network, geo, educational, bioinformatics, and associate. These are all the tabs are not available. If you want to download it, you can go to the options tab where you can have the field called add-ons. If you are opening that add-ons, you need the administrative privilege. So in such a case, you can open the tool as administrator. If you are opening with administrator access, then it's opening. Once it's opening, you can go to the options tab and you can find the add-ons. If you go to the add-ons, it will get the components. Like if you want to work on the geo specific data, you have to download geo. Likewise, if you want to download work on the networks, you can use network. If it is single value components or if it is a prototype, you can install it manually. You can install. Once it is installed, it will ask to restart. Once it is restarted, you will get the components over here. That is the one. That's the thing we have to get the relevant component into the Orange tool. The another one more thing is this is there is a blank screen right on your right side of the screen. Yes, somebody say something.
The screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. Now is it visible, sir?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah. Once if you given after if you want to install anything newly, for example, I am now opening the prototypes. Previously, there is a node tab called prototypes. Now I have given that installation. Once it is done, it will ask for restart. After that, we will get it. So for the time being, I am just canceling it as of now. So as I said, these are all the widgets and corresponding tabs. You can straight away use it. So this is the screen called blank. We can call this as canvas, where here we can drag and drop the components, and we will try to develop our model. I am for the straight away. I am just opening that how visualization. So initially, I will start with visualization. How we can get the components over here? Either we can drag and drop it, or we can right click and we will get it. If I right click, I will get the file. File, as I said, file is an input component. Here I am going to open an already available data set, iris data set. Iris data set is nothing but there is a data set used for flowers, different kind of flowers and its group. The flower can be categorized into 3 groups, Iris virginica. So based on that features, the flowers can be grouped into 3. So already I'm having the data sets. So I'm just going to visualize the data set. So how I can visualize? Once, as I say, if you this is called output channel. If any component, if you have put it, the lines right and left are called, the lines on the right are called as the output channel, whereas lines on the left is called as input channel. For this output channel, if I right click, the file output will be given in any of these output format. Let's say I am paste it in the data table. Data table is, this is the way we can visualize the data sets. I will show the how the data set will initially look like. For example, as I said, I have opened Iris dataset. So it is already come as part of Orange tool. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Praveen. This is
Yeah, this is the Iris datasets I have used. This is the actual datasets. See here, the datasets have sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and iris class. So these are all called as attributes, which denotes C is denoted as continuous value, D is denoted as discrete values. So this is the attribute which defines that this is the class label. So last column is called as class labels. This is what iris setosa or iris virgicolor or iris virginica. These are all the three classes given in this dataset. This datasets only I have opened in the data table, which is displayed like this. See, the original data set is like this, which is viewed as data for tabular in the orange canvas called data table. So what this is the way we can open a data set and we can view it. With this data, what we can do, right? Either way, initially we want to already the data is given in a 3 set, right? So we can go with the classification and we can test whether it is completely classified or not. Before that, we can view the output in a different format. As I shown, we can see it in the data table or we can see it in the scatter plot. See, if we are opening in the scatter plot, these are all the 3 class labels already given with these different colors. So we can change our x-axis and y-axis, and we can find that which is the most suitable feature in such a way that the classification is fine. All the data are correctly classified. So we can change and we can find what are all the among the 4 attributes given, which is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. Which 2 features we can use in such a way the class labels are classified correctly. So for that, instead of going and computing all those things, we can straight away use it, this graphical visualization, and we can get it. Either way, we can use scatter plot, or if we are using logistic regression, let's say I'm going to give the prediction model now. There are different machine learning algorithms are available, right? So I am going to give all the algorithms, let's say tree, KNN, neural network. So the same data set I have applied on all these 3, and I'm going to compute that which model if I used, my data set will be work more efficient. So I'm going to compute all those things. For that, I have to test that model and I have to compute what are all the how it is compared. So I am going to test all the models available and I am going to find which one is the best one. So I am going to give the input as this one. Then that model will be evaluated among all the models given. And with that, the output I am going to, if you open the test and score, this is very, very important screen where you can see this is called area under curve. AUC is called as area under curve. If I am using the KNN, 99% of the points are under area under curve. So like this AE and CA is and F1 recall and recall and precision. These are all the important parameters if we are using to compute which one is the most suitable one. Among the given values, we can say uh, KNN will classified more accurate than the neural network and logistical regression, right? So with that we can evaluate in the confusion matrix as well. See, in the confusion matrix, if I am go with KNN, these colors in the orange and this one is given as misclassified data, whereas these are all given as correctly classified data. If I am using KNN algorithm, there are 17 entries are misclassified. So if I am using tree, there are 16 plus 13. There are 29 misclassified entries. If I am using neural networks, there are 27. If I am using logical regression, I am using there are 19 misclassified entries. So like this, if we are having a data set, we no need to compute all the models manually, and we can come to the conclusion that this one is the most suitable for my data sets. Instead, straight away we can use this orange tool. We can straight away drag and drop all the model and we can test it with test and score widget. And with that component confusion matrix, we can came to know that which model is more suitable for our data sets. Anybody has any questions on this? Hope no one has. Uh, I'm just going to show already I'm having preferred a set of examples. That is, this the entire flow is called as workflow driven. This is what I said. The entire model is called a single workflow. What is the advantage of Orange is that once you have defined this flow, if you are changing the data set, for example, previously I have used iris datasets to evaluate. Whereas if I want to test with a new dataset, I no need to design an kind of algorithm again, design of workflow again. Instead, I can directly use this already used created workflow and I can test it. For example, I am just replacing with the heart disease datasets. See, all these things again computed. So for this data sets, which one is the best one? We can see it here. Neural network, tree, KNN, and so this is the one more advantage over the Orange tool. So if I want to save this workflow, simply I can save it and I can reuse it whenever I want. So this is the biggest advantage. So I'm likewise already I have saved all these data sets for different things. I'm just going to show it again. Next thing we can open it for tree, decision tree, right? How we can compute the decision tree? So for the decision tree, again there is an two interrelated widgets available, which is one is tree and another one is tree viewer. So here also I am using iris dataset and I am going to compute that which feature I can take so that my classification will be more efficient, right? This is what we will get it in the tree model, right? So I have used iris dataset. That dataset is given to the widget called tree. Once which is fitted into the tree, then the output will be seen in the component called tree viewer. So in the tree viewer, we can see that this is the way we will compute, right? Uh, the probability, if I am taking the petal length, is the highest more feature, so that my classification will be more accurate. Then the next one is based on petal width. So likewise, no need to compute manual computation of algorithm. We can straight away drag and drop and we can use it. We can see the k-means, how the k-means will be implemented in orange. K-means is used for classification, right? For that, I am just going to give the set of points as an input. For that, there is a component called paint. We can open the paint and we can draw it. For example, I will give there are two class labels I have used, and if I just mouse click and it will draw the points. Right, in the x-axis and y-axis coordinate, I am just draw points. For C2, I am given some other points. Just my mouse click, drag and drop, you will get the points inputs. So here also you can get the features called glitters. So it will just move away here and there. So in such a way, if you want to demonstrate, or you have to given an practical example for the students, it will be very much useful. And if you want magnify it, it will come in such a way that, so like this, it is just an visualized player and tool you can use. I have painted. Now I am going to compute this using the k-means. Once I have given the k-means component, it will give the Slaton score, right? If it is a fixed, here for the k-means algorithm, we need to give the input, right? Number of clusters we need, either the cluster length, cluster size we need to give. In the orange given new feature, it will automatically suggest you how many cluster points if we are given, that will be more successful classification. So here it is given as these are all the Slaton score, right? If I am if I used two clusters, it will the Slaton score is 0.440. If I am used 7 cluster, it is 0.357. So with this, we can come to know that if you are using 2 cluster points, it will be more useful. So like this, it will compute. For that, if you are changing this value in a way, I have moved the points here and there. Now in the k-means, it is giving that if we are using number 3, which means the 3 clusters, if we are using, our classification will be best one. See, again I am moving this points. I am just mix up. And now if we are seeing that if we are using the 4 clusters, it will be the most suitable one. Likewise, orange will help us to find number of, instead of iterating and we have to compute, we can straight away, instead of I am, for the example sake, I have given this point like this. If you are giving the real-time data, it will straight away in a single step we can compute it. That's what we have to understand here. So previously I have pointed like this. I have given 3 clusters. So I'm going to give one more. I have pointed few points newly. And now in my k-means, it is given that if number of clusters is 5, then it will be most successful clusters. So let's say, see, this is the clustered output, where these are all the 5 clusters, cluster C1, C2, C3, and C4, with their differently colored, right? So in this way, if we are moving it, so instead, if I am changing as 4, see, like this, it is an it is an, it is like an what we can say, it is an interoperable components. It will communicate each other immediately asynchronously. For example, click 7. See, these are all the 7 clusters. It will automatically forms, right? If instead of allowing Orange tool to decide number of clusters, we can give the fixed number of clusters. For example, if I give 2, the entire points and data points will be rearranged with 2 clusters. So like this, what are the like this we can use this one. Uh, um, there is a disadvantage on k-means, right? Whereas if the points are so closely available, then the k-means clustering will be more efficient. Whereas if the points are scattered then and there, there are more outliers. Then we can't cluster we can't classify the values correctly. So for that, we can use iterative k-means, which is an alternative where we can get the outputs in a way. Uh, it will automatically rearrange, and it will be the centroids are recomputed, and the points will be rearranged until it will fit into the particular clusters. For example, I have painted given a 2 clusters, not only 2, you can add more. For the sake, I have given only 2, and for the iterative clusters, I'm taken as randomized points, which is nothing but center cluster centers. Cluster center will be automatically fixed, randomly fixed then and there. And for the iterative clusters, if I am given recompute numbers, it will be the cluster centers will be recomputed, and all the iterative points, the data sets will be rearranged towards the appropriate cluster centers. This algorithm will compute until it will find the exact clustering and exact points. So this is the way we can demonstrate the iterative k-means clusters. Next one is prediction widget. See, as I said, that prediction widget, how it will work, I have already explained. This is then again the same example with the same concept with zoo example, zoo data sets. Here I have used all the models. If the one more thing which I want to highlight it, if you are using inappropriate model for that value, it will straight away given that this this data set will not be suitable for that model. For example, here I am going to give linear regression. See, if I am using linear regression model, it is saying that continuous class variables are expected. So like this, so we can find that kind of what kind of data sets we are using and what model we can use. So we no need to worry about it. Orange will take care, and it will say that if you are using different inappropriate inappropriate models, it will say that this model won't work on this algorithm. So like this, Orange tool will help us to find which one. For this zoo data sets, I have given SVM, tree, logistic regression, Navy base, neural network, and KNN. this test score. Here there are more number of features, so we can based on the target class. The classification may be based on birds. If you are given the if you want to classify with birds, the test score for different model will be changed. For if you want to, the class label is fish, for that different variable we can use. So like this, if we are having more number of class labels, in that case we can easily identify which model is suitable for which class labels. Even though the straightaway models for one algorithm will work for particular class, and another another model is used for another classification. So likewise, we can optimize our data sets in such a way that we can easily predict the model and we can use it. Next one we are going to see is hierarchical clustering. Just for a minute, I will just for hold for a minute. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah. In the hierarchical clustering, how we will compute the hierarchical clustering is initially we have to find the uh, correlation between the data sets, data points in a data set. Then based on the correlation, we have to map the data sets into the, we can group those data sets into the hierarchical clustering, right? For that, we have to use widget called distance. For that, let's say, let me explore. For every widget, if you are giving, it will directly here also I have used iris dataset. If I given the dataset to the distance widget, it will compute the correlation between each and every data points in a dataset, and that output will be either ranked or it directly given the hierarchical clustering. The hierarchical cluster, let's say, just the variables are see if I given that distance matrix into the hierarchical clustering, here is the some class labels will be grouped. For example, here iris setosa are grouped in a cluster called C1, whereas iris versicolor are grouped into cluster C2, whereas Iris virginica is grouped in a separate clusters. But there are few entries are misclassified. Inside Iris virginica, there is a point called Iris versicolor. So we need to find which one is misclassified. So for that, I am going to select the areas where misclassified data entries. For example, here I have seen that Iris versicolor inside the Iris virginica. So I have chosen this cluster and I want to say that which data points are misclassified. So for that, I can give into the output to the data table where I can see these are all the entries are misclassified. Iris virginica inside Iris versicolor. So I likewise this is called output input mapping. Whereas in that hierarchical clustering, what are all the values we have selected, which only given to the input for the table output. For example, initially if I have chosen this one, there are 5 clusters. If I am choosing the entire cluster, then the output will be all these 3. So likewise, we can easily identify which all the variables are misclassified using these dendrograms. Those outliers can be viewed here also. Instead, if we are directly visualizing all the data entries, the scatter plot, see, if I am using petal length and sepal width, this is the way it is classifying. There are few only selected data. See, only selected data is visible. Now I have used all the data to the data. Now I can see all the data entries. So here Iris setosa is separately classified, whereas few entries in the Iris versicolor, which is grouped inside Iris virginica. These are all the misclassified areas. So if you want to see this one, then we can see here why it is misclassified. So just because the entries are our data set has some mismatched values, so that it will be classified that way. So like this, we can find the outliers in our data sets and we can remove, so that we can we can fine tune our algorithm to work more efficient. Now I'm going to show about the text mining. How that we can process the text and we can do the classification or clustering. For that, there is an widget component we have to download is text mining. So inside text mining, we can see there is a widget called corpus. As for the plain text, we can use data for the input, whereas for the text mining, we have to use corpus for the input file. Once in that corpus file, uh, we can get any kind of input file into this corpus. For example, I have used there are 2 different data sets already available. I have used those things. See, to view what are all the documents we have uploaded, there are 2 components available. One is corpus viewer, another is word curve. If you are seeing in the corpus viewer, there are 140 document I have uploaded for this one. So in this one, we can there is a filter option. We can find what all the document have the word called children. See, out of 140 document, there are only 78 document. So likewise, we can. It is just a simple viewer. I'm just to take all the document through the corpus, and I have viewed it in the corpus viewer. So I just want to explore what are the most relevant words inside the document. So there is for that I have used word cloud. Word cloud is just an identify all tokens inside the document, and it will be given a font in such a way that the most used token will be in the higher bigger one, and whereas the smaller text are called as lessly used. When we can see this one, there are tokens like linking words like and, the, was, of, punctuations. These are all highlighted. It is most obvious, right? Each and every document have all these words predominantly used. So we need to remove all these words, and we have to find what is the actual content of the document. All the documents are speaks about which one. For that we need to find. For that we have to pre-process the document, right? So I have used preprocessor. So I need to pre-process this text. So for the preprocessor, in the preprocessor text, what we will do, we can convert all the cases into lowercase, and we can remove the URLs. Remove URL, what it will do, it will remove all the .com, HTTPS, like that, the text which are all related to URLs, which will be removed. Then we can remove the word punctuations. We can remove the spaces. If you want to remove any special cases, like for example, we can, once I have removed the lowercase and remove URL, remove punctuations, what it will be, how the text will be, that will be I have viewed using the word cloud. See, previously in that word cloud, we have seen and, the are the tokens predominantly used. Now once the punctuations are removed, now it is say that set, could, like, these are all the words are mostly used. So I have to remove all such a unwanted unrelevant words. For that I have to remove the words manually. For that, what I can say is, straight away I can open that any notepad, and I can say that what are all the words I need to remove. For example, the words which are all presented here, which are all unwanted, is what are the words we need to remove from here. This word cloud, we have to remove set, like, right, go. These are all the could. These all need to be removed. Then only we can know what is the actual meaning of that one. So for that, I have already having this word file, stopwords.txt. What I had in that stopword.txt is nothing but what are the words I need to remove from that. Could, would, should, said, when, go. These are all the words I need to remove. So once I have given, what this will do, it will remove all those things. So like this, we can pre-process the text and we can view it. See, this is, so this is unformatted, right? So if I want to remove all those stop words, I can straight away given that words which I need to remove. So once that is given, see, now the words are changing, right? This is the way we can, if you have a set of documents, we need to know what the documents are really means. So straight away, not even this documents, if you want to get Twitters, if I am having set of number of tweets, I need to know these tweets, for example, all those tweets means what. So we need to know that we have to straight away. For that, we have to initially given that we have to get the tweet API key and secret password for that. Once we have get that developer API keys, we can given that and we can straight away query it. We can query it from the Twitter and we can get all the tweets and we can pre-process those tweets and we can find what those tweets are all about. The sentimental analysis, the thing we will use to do it like this, right? We can go with any social media and we will get the tweets or posts and likes. We can, with the tweets or likes and posts, we have to classify that these tweets are kind of either a positive no, positive tweets or positive posts, or these are all the negative one. For that, we need to use Twitter or sentimental analysis is a widget used to do that. If we are using sentimental analysis, it will give the given tweets are positive or the average number of tweets are positive, average tweets are negative, and average tweets are number of tweets are neutral. These all will be given using the widget called sentimental analysis. Since this is my official laptop, I can't use any social media, so that I can't able to given the demo for Twitter. Otherwise, I can give the demonstrate on this. You guys can try, and it is very essential, easy tool for the sentimental analysis. Instead, we have to develop we have to write a Python code, and we have to extract all the tweets, and we have to pre-process it, and we have to manually do it, and we have to prove our result. Especially in the research, we can straight away use this orange tool. We can get all the tweets, and we can pre-process it, and we can straight away feed it to the sentimental analysis. We can get the output. This is all about text mining. I am just now now I will going to show you about that image processing. How Orange will help us to process that image, and we can get to extract the feature among the image. So for that, we need to, as I said again, we have to use the components called image analytics. In the image analytics, we can have the components for inputting, reading the images, for fetching the information from the images, and we can find the distance between the relevance or correlation between the each image, and we can classify it. So for that, to get the input, import image is used to read the image. For example, already I'm having set of images. See, I'm having set of domestic animals. These are all the images I'm having. What I'm trying to do is, I am just going to get all these images, and I'm trying to get the feature out of it, and I'm going to classify these images, or I'm going to do the kind of clustering. So similar domestic animals are grouped in a single clusters. So let's see how it's working. I am just going to choose that input. So I have choose this folder. Now I have to see whether those images are imported or not. For that, I am going to use the image viewer. See, image viewer, it will take all the images in that folder and it will showing. So what I have to do is, I'm just going to see what is the features available in the images. See, these are all the features available we can extract from that image, which is nothing but image color, image size, height, width, image name and location, all those things are extracted from the images folder. With this one, can we do anything? No, we can't do anything, right? We have to extract few features out of the image. With that feature, we have to group them. For that, we have to use the component called image widget, image embedded. So image embedding, this is nothing but it is a deep learning component. This image embedding component is using Google's Inception v3 trained on ImageNet. This is the deep neural network implemented component used to extract the feature from the image. So once image embedding is done, let's see what are the features available using the data table. See, initially we are having only image name, image location, size, height, and weight. Now, apart from that, there are 2048 additional features are extracted. So with this feature only, all the images are going to be classified. This image feature extraction is done using Google's Inception v3 model of which is implemented on top of neural network. So once image embedding is done, as I previously said, we need to compute the correlation between the data points. For that, we have to use distance matrix, right? We can use distance widget. This distance widget will compute the correlation between the data entries. Then it will we can predict the hierarchical clustering. Now we can see there are classification is done. We have to know how these classifications are happen, whether which is more suitable or not. Let's say with already existing images, the milk horse, these are all clubbed together. So let's see whether these are all correctly classified. We can see it through image viewer. So I am selecting cluster C1, and let's say what are the images classified in class C1. C. If I select class C1, I am extracting. There are 10 images with almost similar, right? All the images here are either they're having 4 legs, isn't it? They have classified, right? So this is the way the image features have been extracted and clustered. Let's choose another cluster. Previously we have chosen cluster C1. Now we are choosing another cluster where these images, if we are opening with cluster C1, we are getting these 3. If we are selecting another cluster, we are grouping a different set of domestic animals. See here, all the animals with 2 legs are classified. If we are entire clusters, we are getting almost the same. All the pictures which have 2 legs are classified. So likewise, it will be classified. So this is the way image classification is done using Orange tool. Not only image, we can classify the values. We can even classify the audios. So time series data. If we are having different sounds, we can use all those variables, all those sounds. We can classify it based on the features extracted from those sounds. So that is also possible in the Orange tool. So it is. Let me explain. Summarize in this way. Orange tool has minimized all the difficult tasks into pretty simpler widgets. We can straight away drag and drop and use it. So Let me show another example. Which one I can show? Ah. Use a different data set. Now onwards, we can use all the predefined data sets. Just now, I just want to show how we can use our own data set to use for classification or prediction, or how we can process our own data set, right? For that, I am going to give an example how we can feed the data into the Orange tool. Anyway, we can give. Either we can give the plain Excel, or we can give any text files, or we can give any number of files as using the Corpus Viewer, or anyway we can give. For the simple sake, I just going to show. I have used Google Spreadsheet. I have created. I have used either way we can use it. We can either use Google Spreadsheets or plain Excel sheets. See, this is the data set I have used. I have created. I have just created data with columns called name, gender, height, weight, eye color, and hair color, and I'm giving the set of inputs data. So, how I can use this data? So I'm for the Google spreadsheet I have shared, and I copied that link and I have pasted in the URL tab, and I will get the data. I'm just going to see it in the data table viewer. It will display. For example, if I'm adding new value, let me add mine. It's male. It's 174, 65, black and black. I have saved here. I'm just going to reload it. Once it is reloaded, see, I have seen the data entry here. There is another thing is how we are going to use this data set. I am, let's say, with these entries, height, weight, eye color, and name, we are going to predict the gender. This is what our aim. Then the class label should be gender, right? We are nowhere we have specified that what is that class label, what is meant by which one is class label, how we are going to do that. So it is a plain data set. So it is just going to display it. So we have to define which one is a class label, which one is the targeted value, which one is the metadata. So for that, we have to use the widget called select columns. The select column widget, there are attributes and features. So I'm using this gender as a targeted variable, which is the class label. I'm using metadata name. Based on the name, it is going to classify it. So let's um, let us see this variable in the data table. See, now the gender is classified as class labels. So metadata are highlighted with this different color. So these are all the additional features. So this is the way we can use a different data will be fed. Now I have used it. How whether I can save the data? Yeah, we can save it. I for that we have to use widget called save data. So selected columns will be saved as a save data. I'm where I can save it. I'm just saving this one with user defined Orange suggested format is tab separated file. I am just saving this dataset sheet 1. Let us go and see what is inside the dataset columns. Orange. Data sets separated with tables. Yeah, this is the variables we have used, right? See, instead as we see it in the data table, we are having only columns with gender, name, height, weight, and we are having labels, right? But when we see it in the data, when we see it in the data set file, tab separated file, we are having additional fields, right? Which is continuous, continuous, discrete, discrete, and string. This is one additional row. Where is a class and metadata? This is another additional row. What it means? This is the these two rows are auto-generated by Orange. What it means? It's nothing but it is defining that in column types. For example, height is having values, continuous values. So that is what it is giving. So weight is another continuous value column, whereas I is an field which has two distinct black and brown color. So it is a discrete value. Whereas same way, then next column is hair color, which is again one discrete value. Gender, it is a discrete value. Whereas name, it is a string input. So Orange will automatically identify based on the input data, and it will give the appropriate values. So like this we can instead of writing it in Excel, or we can writing it into the Google spreadsheet, we can use. Instead, we can straight away write it in the tab separated file, and we can use it. So this row is fine. What is this row is mean? This is the row will specify that a class is a column where the class labels are resides. So meta is a row where the metadata of a particular meta attribute of a particular data set is given. So these are the two major important rows where Orange is automatically generated. We want to give it, we can no need to give a continuous or discrete. Straight away we can given a C for continuous, D for discrete, where Orange will automatically identify those values. So this is the way we can import the user-defined files or user-defined data sets. If we already available, we can straight away use it, or we can using the Excel sheet, we can generate the data sets and we can save it. This data set will be again used for predictions or classification algorithms. So this way we can create our user-defined data set and we can use it. Previously, I have shown that image text mining. Now I am going to show you about how we can extract, we can get the text values. For that, I have used text import option. I'm having a folder called research reference. This is the folder where I'm just going to work on my research area, mutual authentication, for that two-factor authentication, three-factor authentication, and IoT authentication, where I'm having IEEE reference papers placed in these folders. Okay, I am just going to see, I am just going to import all the documents. I already classified it, pre-classified, and I have put it the documents in 3 different folders. So here, without knowing that, if I am straight away having a new document, I have to find that this document or this reference paper, whether I can place it in the 2-factor or 3-factor or IoT authentication. So I have to, this is not our problem. I'm having a new problem paper. I have to identify which group it is, and I have to place. So for that, initially I have to, with the available reference data, I have to build a model, and I have to train a model. so that once the test data is coming, I have to use this model and I have to find that appropriate class. So for that, I have created the training set here. It is the reference papers are uploaded. Since there are a lot of papers, it is taking time. Give me some time. It is uploading. The files are uploaded. Once the files are getting uploaded, we can see all the documents in the Corpus viewer and the word cloud. Word cloud as let's see here. Let us wait to upload it. Meantime, if you have any queries, anybody has any queries? Yes, let us see. There are 34 documents with 3 categories are uploaded. So where, let's see, every components are recomputing itself. So this is the way it is an event driven. So each component will be automatically penetrate and communicate with input and output. So let us see. See, there are 34 reference papers were uploaded. Let's say word cloud. All the components with what it has. Let us see. Here also the same problem, and we are. So what we will do? We can use stop words to remove it. So once pre-processed, let's see. Once it is pre-processed, all the papers are speaks about authentication and security and schema. So information. These are all the keywords. Majorly, predominantly, all those papers have been used. See, biometric, protocol, wireless, identity. So this is the way we can, irrespective of analyzing all those documents manually, we can straight away use it and we can see all the documents that speaks about what kind of things. So security, attacks. So since I haven't removed all the so much of unwanted variables, I just removed a few stop words so that we can get the, still we can able to get the values here. So yeah, now let us uploaded document and the pre-processed and we can view it. How we can apply the machine learning algorithm, or how we can make our model for the classification. For that, initially how we can do, we have to extract all the words from the documents, and we have to already given three categories. So all the words will be grouped with the category, and it will make a note. It will find a model, and it will construct a model so that new documents coming, it will take all the words from the new document, and it will compare with the categories, and which category it is morely suitable, then it will suggest that as an output. For that, we need to use back of words component, which is used to identify uh, uh, documents words from the each document, whether how which one we can use, whether we can use count or binary or sublinear. I have used count here. So once that all the values are counted, then I have given that thing to logistic regression. Then those values are given as scatter plot. So it is just viewing all those things. For example, if I am using IoT with two-factor authentication, this is a separate classification, this is a separate classification. It will give what are the papers containing both the things, both IoT and the two-factor. So those things I can see it here. So likewise, we can compare for three-factor plus IoT. So likewise, the regions which are all overlapped have containing both concepts, three-factor IoT or two-factor IoT authentications. So like that, we can get the values. So for example, if I selected these three grouped values, and I have to see which document is used. It's not selected properly. It's not showing. I don't know why it's not showing. Actually, it will show if we are selected what are the documents are platted here, which will be shown here. Which I don't know why it's not coming now. The same way, this is the one way we can we can generate a model. So if a new document is coming, how we have to use this model, right? For that again, we need to import a new document source. So for that, I need to import a new document, and I have to fit the document to the model. So for that, I need to use a prediction, right? I have to predict which one this category is going to be. So for the predict model, I have to give the user input data, and which model they have to use. Already this logistic regression is trained with this data model. I am using this logistic regression, so I can get the output. We can say corpus viewer. The classification will be displayed in the data tables. So if I am fed any new document related to any of these three categories, which will be computed against this prediction, against the already tested, already trained model, using that model, it will predict the output and it will give the corresponding value. This is the way we can train a model, and we can use that model for the classification and finally, I just want to show that all are about pandemic and COVID. I am just going to show uh, geo relevant COVID data on based on countries. I'm just want to show that how the COVID data is viewed. just for the visualization, but as of now, I'm here for the COVID data. I have to use the data set. See, this is the data set provided by the university. They have updated day-to-day basis on the how the COVID data corresponding by against each country and each region. So I'm just going to use this data set to visualize it. So I'm just going to use this URL where it is a plain data file. I am just going to upload it. It will take time to upload. See. Yes. This is the COVID data. For against each country, what is the longitude, what is the latitude, longitude and latitude, and the date-wise entries. How many COVID cases are reported? So for yesterday's entry, up to yesterday's entries, we are having the data in that data set. So I just want to view it in the geo map. So this is the way we can see. For this one, we have to download a widget called Geo, and we have to map the data set against GeoMap. How the data is mapping is by using the two factors called latitude and the longitude, based on which with this the map will be automatically map the data entries and it will displaying here. For example, let's say at the initial stages, the map is showing that the biggest circle is showing the highest number of cases. It is showing us China, right? Where we are getting the more number of cases in the initial stages. Whereas if we are coming to in between, the circles are changing. So let's say I'm giving. See now, the cases circles came to US and the second biggest circle in the India and this one. So like this, we can instead of directly viewing it, we can visualize the data. So yesterday's data. Yesterday, see, India, US, and Canada has highest number of cases. So like way we can view it. Why I have to view it as an entire country wise? Can I have it as a region wise? Yes, we can have. For that, we have to use component. It has some error. I don't know why. I have removed some administrative privilege now, I guess, so that it's not coming. Actually, it will come. The same dataset I have uploaded. Again, we need to upload the datasets. Okay. Jagdish sir, shall I continue or the time is over? So
Time is over, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Shall I conclude it or?
You can conclude, sir.
Yeah, you can conclude.
Uh, so this is the way we can use it orange tool. At final, what I would suggest is orange is the tool used for test the data sets and predict the categories and class labels, and we can visualize the results. So it is just a drag and drop. Hope it is useful.
Yes, Pravinji,
So
it's useful.
that's it. If you have any queries, ma'am, we can.